Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Mauricio Pochettino considers making a return to Tottenham. That could convince Harry Kane to stay at Tottenham. Mauricio Pochettino is PSG manager, but he is unhappy at PSG. Pochettinho did manage Tottenham for 5.5 years. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. Back in 2019, Pochettinno guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. Don't forget, Mauricio Pochettinno was linked with a managerial role at Man United at one point. That's when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was under pressure. Tottenham's manager at the moment is Ryan Mason. He's the interim manager. They did sack Jose Mourinho not so long ago. Daniel Levy, Tottenham's chairman, has slapped a £200 million asking price on Harry Kane. That is a world record fee. Last week, Daniel Levy was furious with Harry Kane for going public with his desire to leave. Obviously, Daniel Levy doesn't want Tottenham to sell Harry Kane. Harry Kane came out last week and said that Tottenham could be ready to sell. He will decide on his own future, not Daniel Levy. Harry Kane had an interview with Gary Neville regarding his future. Gary Neville recently named 3 players Manchester United could swap for Harry Kane. That's Martial, Jesse Lingard and Daniel James. It says Man United are ready to double Harry Kane's wages to around £400,000 a week, and we would pay an 18 million signing on fee. Solskjaer is open to selling Anthony Martial to fund a move for Kane. But last week, it did say that Harry Kane put a transfer request in. Man United, Man City and Chelsea have all been in contact with Harry Kane's representatives. And last week it said that Man United and Man City were set to offer Harry Kane 80 million in wages. He'll either go to Man United or Man City. I'm very, very sceptical that he'll go to Chelsea. Chelsea launched a bid though not so long ago. It says they was willing to offer Tammy Abraham and Arrizabalaga as part of a swap deal for Kane. Harry Kane has won the Golden Boot 3 times. He said quite a few weeks ago he was ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers this summer, and it says the Glazers were planning to sanction a £90 million bid. But he did say, didn't he, Kane, that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. Tottenham have not won a trophy for like 13 years now. The reasons I'd take him at Manchester United is because he is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. He's a prolific goal scorer. He's well proven in the Premier League. And he would fit perfectly in our team, and plus he's highly experienced. Man United still want a striker despite Cavani signing a one-year deal not so long ago. Kane has been a very long-serving player at Tottenham. He's been with them for 17 years. You know, came up their academy, didn't he? Been in their senior squad since 2009. And he's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. He has had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. But we have done business with Tottenham before. Don't forget we got Michael Carrick off them a long time ago. And we also got Dimitar Berbatov off them a lot of years ago. But I think it's going to take a bid in the excess of 120 million, to convince Tottenham to offload him. Tottenham will have to get a good, adequate replacement for Kane. Now, can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer win his first trophy as Manchester United manager? We do play Villarreal tomorrow night. It's 8 o'clock kickoff. It's Gdansk, which is in Poland. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Manchester United manager, and it's our 8th European final. If we win the Europa League, that's a great achievement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then that obviously gives us something to build on going on into next season. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has named a 26-man squad for the final. Harry Maguire has been named in the travelling squad for the final. But he still remains a doubt because Solskjaer held a special press conference not so long ago ahead of the game against Villarreal, and he did say that things weren't looking great with Maguire. He's had ligament damage in his ankle. It's a bad injury. He sustained the ankle injury in the 3-1 win against Aston Villa, so he is a big miss. Anthony Martial, he remains out. He's been out of an injury for a while. And Phil Jones is still out with injury. He's been out of injury over the year now, but he doesn't get in our 11 anyway. We're coming into this final on the back of a 2-1 win against Wolves. It was our final Premier League game of the season, and I think it was a good performance by Manchester United against Wolves. Obviously, Solskjaer played a lot of the reserves. We saw Alanga get his name on the score sheet. It was a very, very good header, and it was a superb cross from Daniel James. That was Alanga's first goal for Man United, and that was his second Premier League start. And we also saw Juan Mata score from the penalty spot. That was a special moment for Juan Mata, because that could have been his final game at Manchester United. But Solskjaer did say not so long ago that no decision has yet been made on Juan Mata's future. Mata did lose his mother not so long ago. Mata's current contract expires very soon. These are options trigger his contract for a further year. And Wolves' goal came from Nelson Semedo. We went the entire season without losing away from home in the Premier League. That is a fantastic record. The game against Wolves was meaningless anyway. Even if we hadn't have won, it wouldn't have changed the complexion of things, because obviously we finished second. Second was already secure, and obviously we're in the Champions League for next season. But I'm glad we beat Wolves anyway. It's always good to finish the season with a win, because prior to the Wolves game, we were winless in our last 3 Premier League games. Villarreal, they recently lost 2-1 against Real Madrid. They finished 7th in La Liga. Villarreal are not world beaters, but they are no pushovers. Their current manager is Unai Emery. I think he's been at Villarreal now for a year or just over a year. Unai Emery has managed quite a few clubs, hasn't he? He did manage Arsenal. Arsenal sacked him after 18 months in charge. He also managed PSG at one point. He managed Sevilla. He also managed Valencia. He managed Spartak Moscow. He managed Almeria. And he also managed Lorca Deportiva, if I pronounced that correctly. Villarreal obviously beat Arsenal in the semi-final. I do know quite a few of Villarreal's players. Obviously, they've got Foyth. He's actually out with injury. Chukwueze, he's also been out with injury. Villarreal have got Pau Torres. Man United have been tentatively linked with him. It said earlier on this year that Man United were in advanced talks to sign Pau Torres, and we want to complete the signing before the European Championship. Pau Torres has around a £40-odd million release clause, but it says his release clause increases to just over £56 million in the final 15 days of the summer transfer window. Pau Torres has been at Villarreal a long time, came up their academy. He's got a contract with Villarreal until 2024. Don't forget he had a loan spell with Malaga. Do you think he'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line? I think he'll be in contention to play in the final, by the way, Pau Torres. They've also got Gerard Moreno of Villarreal. They've also got another Moreno in their team. Few of the other players here, obviously they've got Carlos Bacca, they've got Al Casilla, they've got Gomez, they've got Gasper, one of their defenders, Rabah, one of their forwards, they've got Alvarez, one of their goalkeepers, Costa, one of their defenders, Alex Millen, he's one of their forwards, Manuel, one of their defenders, Lozano, one of their midfielders. So that is a lot of Villarreal's players. Obviously, we got to the Europa League final by obviously beating Real Sociedad. We beat AC Milan. we beat Granada, and we also beat Roma. We won the Europa League back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho, where we beat Ajax in the final 2-0. Obviously, after the Europa League, we'll be then focusing on the summer transfer window. If Man United don't win the Europa League, I still think that Solskjaer will stay at Manchester United for at least another season. He does deserve at least another season at the club because he has made very, very good progress. Next season is going to be massive for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think he is aware of that. Because next season, Ole has got to exceed expectations if he is to remain Manchester United manager. Next season will be his third full season at the club. Obviously now Ole has endured 2 full seasons. And he's been Manchester United manager around 29 months now, so he's been in charge over 2 years. But I've got to give Solskjaer credit because I didn't expect him to do as well as he has done. You've got to say he's done well to say the squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager. Solskjaer is aware that the summer transfer window is going to be huge for him and Manchester United in general. It's very imperative that Solskjaer gets the players he wants to recommend in the summer transfer window, because I don't think Ole has been backed enough so far because he hasn't got all the players that he wanted in, and in that aspect the blame stems from the board. The summer transfer window will be Ole's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Solskjaer's already said that he wants 3 world-class signings in order for Man United to challenge for the Premier League title next season. We can challenge for the Premier League title next season if we recruit well in the summer transfer window. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. Solskjaer needs to get the backing he deserves. And I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. We've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. And we've also got Matt Judge, and he's been part of the club for a long time. Now, I give you the news, didn't I, on Jadon Sancho this morning. Borussia Dortmund have told Jadon Sancho that he can leave the club this summer. So that is a massive boost for Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made Jadon Sancho a transfer priority this summer. There's obviously some of our players that want the club to sign Jack Grealish. The deal has been agreed for Sancho. A contract has been agreed and the personal terms have been agreed. Recently, he said that Jadon Sancho loves the prospect of joining Man United this summer. And the deal could cost around 77 million for Sancho. Fabrizio Romano has already said that Borussia Dortmund are ready to sell Sancho for around 80 million in the summer transfer window. He said Man United are interested in Sancho. But he said there's been no official talks or bid yet. It's an open race. Few clubs have been in for him, Chelsea have been linked to him, Liverpool have been in for him, and not so long ago Bayern Munich entered the race. Dortmund already confirmed that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho that will allow him to depart Dortmund this summer. And the Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Sancho's pushing for a transfer out of Dortmund this summer. And he even said Man United could use Jesse Lingard to buy Sancho, because it says Dortmund were interested in Jesse Lingard. Solskjaer's made his final decision on Jesse Lingard. He's ready to sell him. Jadon Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close. The personal terms were agreed, the agent fees were agreed, the wages were agreed, and the contract was agreed. But the reason we didn't get him is because we was reluctant to meet Borussia Dortmund's 108 million valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. Obviously, the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. He's our main midfield target. Declan Rice is desperate for Jesse Lingard to seal a permanent transfer at West Ham. The other month it said that Declan Rice is interested in joining Man United. And it said Declan Rice has asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. Earlier on this year it said West Ham were demanding £100 million. £100 million is too much. I reckon Declan Rice is worth between £60 to £70 million. Darren Fletcher already revealed, didn't he, that Declan Rice asked about Man United when he was on international duty with England. But Solskjaer did agree with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. The reasons I take Declan Rice at Man United is because he's well proven in the Premier League, learnt his trade in the Premier League, still young, got a lot of development in him. And he's predominantly a holding midfielder, and Man United need a holding midfielder, and he can also be deployed as a centre-half. He'd be a good adequate replacement for Matic. So they are the reasons. Declan Rice has endured, 7 years at West Ham. He's got a contract with them until 2024. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years. But he never got in Chelsea's first team. Obviously, Rafael Varane is leaving Real Madrid. Yesterday, reports came out and said that Man United have held talks with Rafael Varane's representatives. Fabrizio Romano did say not so long ago that Rafael Varane is the main name on Man United's list, and it says we're waiting to see what happens with his situation at Real Madrid. Real Madrid rejected a £40 million bid. Real Madrid are demanding £60 million for Varane. Liverpool have also held talks. Earlier on this year, though, Varane did come out and say that he's keen on a move to the Premier League. And at one point, it said Chelsea were the favourites to sign him. It said Chelsea were prepared to pay up to £61 million. Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid stalled a while ago. His current contract expires next year. I'd certainly take Varane at Manchester United because he's a world-class centre-half. He's highly experienced. He'd go very, very well alongside Maguire in our back line. He'd exceed expectations in the Premier League, and he's got a good pedigree as a player. He's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. He's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's enjoyed 10 years with them. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. We was in for Varane 10 years ago, and we was prepared to sanction a £100 million bid for him back in 2018. But yeah, there's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. I think we've drawn a 5-man centre-back shortlist. So yeah, we still want a centre-half despite Eric Bailly signing a new contract not so long ago. And you obviously know the news regarding Jules Koundé from Sevilla. Reports came out yesterday saying that Sevilla have set their asking price for Jules Koundé. It's £50 million. I'm expecting players to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer did recently say, though, there may not be many outgoings. Maybe 2, 3 or 4 players could just leave in the summer transfer window. I've already named the players that I think should leave. I think Romero should go. I think Lee Grant should go. I think Jones should go. Get rid of Delors permanently. I think we need to loan Williams out so he gets a lot more opportunities and he gains more experience. I think we also need to offload Nemanja Matic as well. We need to offload Juan Mata, and I think we need to offload Anthony Martial because he's no longer good enough to represent the club. But the players we do sell will generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he is our best manager since Ferguson. Because he's brought that consistency back, but I don't think he's a long-term manager for Man United. I hate to say it, but I'm just being realistic. And I think a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. You know, if Solskjaer does eventually get sacked, who will be our next manager to replace him? He said earlier on this year that Ollie agreed a 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. I do have my concerns about Ollie, like I've said before. You know, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, has he? But that doesn't mean he can't succeed as Manchester United manager. You know, we adore Solskjaer a lot. He is a club legend. He enjoyed 11 years as a player for Manchester United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. But there is a lot of United fans that are Ollie in and they believe that he needs more time at the club. But I presume that's a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Because a lot have been demanding him out as well and they've heavily criticised him. Obviously, they've got their reasons behind it. But there's a lot of positives regarding Solskjaer, you know, like I said. In his second full season, you know, he's got us to the Europa League final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. As you all know, gone the entire season without losing away from home in the league. That's good. You know, got us a second place finish. That isn't an achievement, but you can see there's been progress made from Solskjaer's first full season at Man United. Ollie did well in his first full season, though. He got us a third place finish, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League. You know, he has made good signings so far as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. You know, a lot of the players he's brought in, obviously he's brought Daniel James in, he brought Wan-Bissaka in and Harry Maguire in. Also brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in on loan, but Ighalo left in January. And also brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Amad Diallo, Traore and Facundo Pellistri. We loaned Pellistri out in January, so they're a lot of the players he has brought in. You know, he's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in as well. And I like the way that Ole has promoted the youth. So they are the positives. You know, Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.